Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Dev Special Interest Group. I, like every single month, have no agenda. So I hope you guys brought things to talk about.
I'm just almost here by accident, so I got nothing.
Oh,
I actually did bring something this month. So it's like a multifaceted question. I'm gonna share my screen. My brain is jelly. Too many Zoom meetings. I think it's this one because that's the one I opened the Zoom on. Okay, so are you seeing my test server here, Koha? Yeah. Okay, so first thing, I'm writing a ticket and I want this to show. So I've written up the ticket because it doesn't show normally. I can probably not show you on the test server because I have a bunch of junk there. This is like a super basic question to start off with. But so right now the author doesn't show on the holds page, but it does show on the checkout history and the items screen. So if we're placing a hold and we want to know who the author is, we have to click off that screen and come back to it. So it would be nice to have that information on the screen. So I looked for bugs, I couldn't find any. So I wrote this up, basically what I just said. But my question is, I don't know what component to pick for that. Is it a template thing or is it a hold thing?
yeah, it can be very hard sometimes to pick the right template. Some might not match your issue exactly, but in this case, yeah, I would say that that's a template issue.
Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and submit that bug. Since I wrote it up, I did not proof it for typos. So apologies for that. And I'll go ahead and put it in chat so that we have it in the logs if anybody else is interested and wants to comment. So my next thing is more web devy. I've been trying to pull that information in anyways because I require instant gratification at times. So I've written the jQuery and it works and it's pulling it from a report. My question is, and my problem is on this jQuery or JavaScript, when I declare the variable, it seems to break everything else. So I don't know if there's a better way. So I'm using this variable here to pull the bib number out of the href from this link. And I'm using, I don't know regex very well, but I'm using this match command because that's what I found on Stack Overflow. And it does seem to work. I mean, it pulls the bib number off the end of the URL, and then I can stick it in here, which then I can use the JSON to pull in here. And it doesn't break everything. So like, I've got another piece of jQuery pulling this report information in right after it, and that works. But on other pages, my Pineapple protocol has fired off. So it's not running the jQuery on other pages. And I don't know if it's everywhere.
Are you getting a console error?
I mean, I've got an error in there, but it doesn't seem, I don't understand it, I guess.
Yeah, I think that maybe match is getting used wrong there.
Okay.
Or go back to your jQuery.
There.
I would try declaring maybe a new variable called something, and then just having bib num from URL be attribute, take the match off, and add do bib num from URL dot match and make it a new variable. Am I making sense?
I think so. So if I declare another, let's just do. So I do bib num from URL, and then add that match onto there. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, and then the next thing I would do is console log that just to see what.
Okay, and I don't. It's console log, and then is that it?
Yeah, and then in parentheses, like a function parentheses, put your variable inside of parentheses.
Like that?
Yeah.
Okay.
And now we could go see what that.
So I've got no errors now. On that, I guess that wasn't the page where I had errors. It was here. Does that tell you anything? I don't.
I don't know enough about how match is supposed to work, but we're doing something wrong there with match.
Okay.
Go back and you're trying to take the href from the title, and you need that because
I need to pass the bib number into the JSON to get the report to run and pull the author out of it. So I need to get the bib number from the page somewhere. Is there a different, better place to do that?
Well, actually, that's what I was just looking at. And on the placehold page, when you've got on the page that you're on right now, it looks like that number is in a form called holds patron search pane, holds _ patron search dot pane. There's here. If I put it in chat, I don't have to try to spell it. It's in an input field there with the name of biblio number. And then I looked on the page that comes after that, and it's also in the same form. It's in a different form, but the form on that one is hold request form. So there may be a way of getting it without having to try to suck it out of the URL.
Okay. Yeah.
Grab it,
which is a lot easier.
And I see it. Okay, I'll try that. I'm trying to think if there was anything else I had. That was my main problem that I'm fighting right now. Which I think that was all I had to share. If I come up with other stuff, I can definitely do that. Oh, hi, Heather.
So I'm just going to post this here. This URL API and you should do it the way that George said to get the bib number, but in other cases, you might want to grab an easy way to grab the bib number can be from the actual URL. Just grab it out of the parameters. It's super easy to do with that API.
Okay, I'll try it George's way, and if I can't get it to work, I'll take a look at this.
And also, I would say, better than using a report to do what you're trying to do, I would use the API.
So can you talk about that?
Yeah, let's let me share my screen. I know. that working? Do you see my koha?
Yes, we do.
So let's see. Go to that page first. So wait, is this, yeah, this is the screen, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So let me open a new tab and let's see. I'm gonna go from my URL, from your base URL, either on the OPEC or in the staff client. I'm gonna go API v1 and then .html, which should give us the documentation kind of the APIs. So these are all the different routes. If you scroll through here, you get all the info on what you can find in them. Let's see, in this case, we will probably want something like either items or biblios.
I think you'd want biblios because it's not going to be in the item record.
Yep. So biblios, and then you're gonna need the bib number again, just like you did. So let me just 144. Yeah, these ones are different. So let me see if I have some jQuery laying around. Actually, we may be able to, let's see if we can just use items here. Nope, that's not going to work because
you're getting an item number, not a biblio number, right?
yeah, so we're not going to get any author information out of that.
Yeah.
So I don't know if we want to watch me do this on the spot here, but what we can do is
You get credit for trying, Lucas.
we can
Big
get
SQL doing it live and on demand and recorded is a certain level of achievement for sure.
but essentially what we're going to do is we're going to use a URL like this with the biblio number in there. We're going to do an AJAX request, which is going to return us. This is actually jQuery for adding the 490 to the results page in the catalog. But if we took all that out, we could basically just do the same things here, but we would grab like the 245, I guess, something, wherever you keep your author data. And then just append, this part just appends all that stuff to the page. So we would just replace this with the correct things for that whole page. I can work this out, not on Zoom, recorded with everybody watching me, and give it to you, Jason.
Sure. And I think I have this chunk of code. You sent that one to me because I've asked about that before. So I can play with it too.
I also wrote a blog post, which is on the Bywater site now, recently about working.
Cool.
So is that series jQuery that you just showed, is that listed somewhere?
It's not listed somewhere. I can certainly give it to you if you'd like, or we could list it somewhere. We put it on the Koha jQuery library. It usually has to be massaged a little bit depending on you know exactly how your data looks inside those 490 fields.
And I did actually, I've started putting documents of code we share into the koha-US Google Drive. So I think it's in there as well.
And Jason, once you filed the actual the bug for what you talked about, link it to me. This is one of those cases where the bug fix is way easier than the jQuery.
Yeah. So it is filed as 28405. So
Cool.
And if you want to see the blog posts on bywatersolutions.com that Lucas has authored, here's a link, author/Luke G. And that API endpoint one bubbles up right to the top.
That's a part 1. I got a part 2 coming in soon. Stay tuned.
I'm interested in bug 21225, which is adding syndetics content to the staff side. And it looks like maybe there was a patch, but it no longer applied. And then I'm not sure if anything's going to happen on it, but we use syndetics. And so it'd be nice to be able to see that on the staff side, because we can get like the DVD cover content, which is important to our staff. So of course, what we're using right now is the Amazon, and Amazon doesn't show DVD content. I came across some like Amazon API kind of stuff, which of course I don't understand at all, but is there any way to get Amazon DVD covers to actually show on staff?
Yeah, I think this bug is the route to it, and I tried to. The patch looks pretty good, and just probably needs to be rebased. I actually updated that ticket not too long ago, asking if you could get it rebased. I don't sometimes know how to proceed here. I would be happy to rebase it, but I also don't want to steal Andreas's thunder. So
I'll just make another comment on it to.
That's a good idea. More comments, the better, I'd say.
Yeah.
And there's the Koha IRC channel. You might be able to find them in there and gently nudge them if you happen to go on IRC anytime.
And a good page that I use sometimes is if you just Google Koha IRC regulars, there is a list of everybody, not everybody, but lots of people to figure out what their IRC name is.
People that were willing to confess to who they are online.
Yeah, exactly.
Part of your question, Barbara, was, is there a way to get the Amazon DVD cover images into the staff client?
Right.
And my recollection is that's an Amazon issue, that Amazon doesn't let those in through their API unless you have like a verified Amazon account that is being used to sell their products. That they won't do it for users that aren't monetizing the cover images. That's my recollection, and that information is a couple of years old. So I don't know if that's still true, but that's what I remember about the Amazon DVD cover image issue.
I want to say I heard something recently about IMDb, maybe an API, and them offering more enhanced content. I'd need to track down where I heard that from, but is anyone tried working with the Internet Movie Database and see if we could get stuff from there?
That'd be interesting.
Pretty sure that's how Aspen.
Yeah, it was probably in an Aspen meeting it came up.
Yeah.
Which of course means Koha should be just as good and be able to pull that too.
Correct.
Got another question, and I'm going to try and share my screen. So we've got some jQuery where what we wanted to have was for bib records that have lots of items attached. We wanted to know quickly how many items are actually there without counting the lines. So we put the item count, some jQuery for the item count, but it's up here. I could only get it to work on the far right-hand column. And it would be nice to be able to like move it over to before the actions column. And let's see.
I'm not seeing your screen.
Oh, you're not. Okay.
Neither am I. I wasn't sure if you thought you started to share it or not yet. So.
Yes, I always think I have, and I never do it right. So.
There you go. I'm seeing something.
Good. So over on the far right, I've got a column called item count. So we're using some jQuery to pull that in there just to number the results. But I'd rather have that over on the left-hand side, like before the actions column, so I could see the count over there. And I was going to try and find where I've got this. So this is what I'm currently using. And the few things I tried fouled up the whole actions column, so I wasn't doing it right.
You just want to move it from the right side to the left side of the table.
Pretty much.
I think maybe if you replace append with prepend, that's
So both of the appends.
Yeah, if you don't do both, you'll end up with the header on this side and the column on this side, and that's not going to do it for you. Yeah.
So I've got the column, but no
The
count.
data's not over there.
yeah.
Go back to the.
Oh, maybe inside of the function, this children last,
Yeah.
this children first.
Yay. Thank you.
Yeah.
So did you write that, Barbara?
No, I stole it from somebody.
Oh, okay.
I can't remember who. And it also shows it on, I think it's on batch item modification. Let's see, I have it in my notes. Yeah. It'll also show it on the batch item modification table, which that's what I started it with, because what happens sometimes is I'll be doing something like that and the records are on my screen, and then somebody calls me into a meeting or I have to go to a public service point, and I come back and I'm looking at the data and I'm just kind of like, where did I leave off? And just somehow also having like a count of like, I know I was working with 433 records. You know, if I saw that, I would kind of know where I was. And when I did this, I realized it also added it to the add items page, which was great.
And also, Barbara, it's not stealing, it's sharing.
But I wish I would sometimes remember who shared it with me.
Sure.
On that note, this meeting's making me think we really need a jQuery edition of Mana. I just don't know where we'd put it. So Mana is a knowledge base for those of you not using it, where serial enumeration patterns can be shared, and also SQL reports. And if you dig into your admin settings, you can elect to activate that in your Koha client, and then on the serials module or in the reports module, you'll have access to browse serial subscription patterns that have been submitted or SQL reports that have been submitted. And that takes the place of, say, the wiki page, or eventually might take the place of the wiki page where SQL reports are stored. But there's also that jQuery library, which is a wiki page. And I imagine it would be pretty slick to just pull down George, Lucas, Jason, Barbara's jQuery, test it out, ideally in your test site first, and see how it works. You know, maybe something for a KohaCon or a koha-US conference discussion.
I would say the biggest problem with the jQuery library is that it can quickly become outdated as we move through the Koha versions. So it would be good to have somewhere where we had jQuery that worked in 2005 and jQuery that worked in 2011, and so on and so forth.
I think it would be nice to have the whole page kind of cleaned up. It's kind of a mess. It's, you know, a bazillion miles long. It's got a ton of stuff on it.
And a lot of it's no longer
Yep.
really relevant. It's broken.
Totally.
Yeah, if I liken it to, say, a plugins marketplace or things like that with other web-based tools, there's usually like versions compatible with author, or last time it got updated, rebased, what have you. And the wiki's not exactly conducive to that sort of curation. You should be putting that on there, but you know, like, you control finding your way to the things that are relevant or out of date. Mm. Say, Barbara, we earlier this week you showed the bug about acquisitions numbering, that quality of life enhancement. We can talk about that here too, just so more people learn about it and vote for that bug.
Let me find that.
Also, Barbara, you realize you're still sharing your screen. Is that on purpose?
Well, if I'm going to find this one,
Might as well stick with it, right?
maybe. Let's see, it's 26994 is the bug. And
That's the one you're on right now, isn't it?
yeah. And it's let's see. In suggestions, if you go over here in the filtering section and you look at all of your people in there, it's just a big mess. And it would be nice if that was sorted alphabetically.
That would be nice. And we could also do this easily with jQuery if you would like the instant gratification of jQuery.
Yeah, it's it does the same thing in that list of SMS providers on the add and modify patron page. Those are sorted in the order that they were added to the system, not alphabetically. And I've got some jQuery that sorts those alphabetically too. And there's another instance, if you're batch modifying patrons, the list of patron attributes does not sort alphabetically. It actually seems to sort randomly every time you load that page. It's in a different order.
I think there's a similar problem in item search with some of the drop
Could be, yeah.
So, George, if you wouldn't mind, where Lucas sharing on the web dev listserv group, maybe that would be a really nice thing to get into other people's inboxes.
I'm trying to remember if I think it's on the wiki.
Is it in the library already?
I think it might be.
I share a really generic piece of JavaScript too for sorting alphabetically any dropdown.
That's what I wrote. Oh, I sent that to Christopher in Slack. Christ.
I posted your wiki SMS provider dropdown, George.
Oh, okay, that one.
Yep.
And I put that bug number in there just for reference on the suggestion one.
Well, you got somebody else following that bug, Margaret.
This bug, 28289, is when you go to and you're on the staff side and you're searching and you bring up the detail of a record and you've got your holdings down there. There's a tab for holdings and like descriptions. And then there's a tab for acquisitions. With the holdings tab, it'll say, you have 5 holdings, and I don't really use that descriptions tab much, but there's a count there for what's attached. It would be nice if there was a count on the acquisitions tab so that you would know that there's actually an order record or how many order records are attached to that particular title, because it's blind to you. You don't really know that there's any information there.
That does seem handy. I don't know if this is web dev really, but I have a bug if anybody wants to test it. I know we've talked about the koha-US tool lots in this meeting. 26205 news changes aren't logged. Anybody feels like testing that? It'd be awesome.
Sign up for that.
That reminds me, something we've talked about at this group multiple times is the fact that the news tool and the customization tool, whatever, could benefit from being split into 2 separate areas. Do we have any progress on that, or should we be?
There's, I think, was it Esther posted a related bug? You go to updates on news changes aren't logged. It's Esther Melander submitted a separate bug for that. Like, at least pulling website customizations out of, hey, here's news and how news behaves.
What bug
But
is that?
it doesn't have anything going on in it yet.
Give a bug number, Margaret.
Yeah, it is 28059.
Oh, you posted it.
And the suggestion that it have its own permission set, which, yeah, I can see that. Ooh, somebody accidentally deleted all the OPAC news blocks. That's painful.
I wonder if I took away the ability to delete yet. That might be a good enhancement.
Yeah.
I had related fun story. When you post news on the staff client, I had to take away the delete link there because I had a librarian thinking they were just like removing it from the front page for themselves, and they were actually deleting my news items for everyone.
You just removed those with jQuery.
Yeah, I just hit it with a little snippet of something or another.
Yeah, I only
It's not
have,
even pretty.
I have our directors set up so that they're the only ones with permission, and then I've got, when they access that tool, their dropdown is locked to their library. And then I've got a button that I can click to open up all the libraries when I log in. So just because I was afraid that was going to happen.
And that's for actual news items, not the HTML things.
Well, they're all the same now, so they're all news items now.
So if the drop down's locked to their library, doesn't that mean that they have to be logged in at that branch on the OPAC?
Yeah.
For those things to.
Yeah, they don't change anything on the OPAC anyway. We don't really use the news on the OPAC at all.
I see.
Yeah, mine's set to default to their library and the slip because my libraries really only use it to add stuff to their slips.
Right.
I created 28404 on improving the calendar tool management.
284.
28404. And Owen says I need to separate it into two things, but basically in the calendar tool, you can't delete the old holidays. So we end up with, this massive long list of old holidays, and then we contact Bywater and they can delete stuff out for us. But it would be nice if we could delete things, clean that up. And then because we have so much in there, the holidays display in date ascending order. So the oldest things are at the top. And so if we want to see 2021, we have to scroll all the way down to the bottom. It just seems like it would be nice if there was some sorting in there. And it seems like, I don't know how this works, but it seems like if you could sort where, 2021, for instance, was at the top, and then 2020.
Well, I just logged into my calendar and it does have you can click at the top of the column and sort them in mine.
Yeah, that's true.
I will say on the deleting calendar entries, I agree, it's a pain. The thing that kind of comes into it is the calculation. If you are using holidays as exceptions to circulation rules or otherwise factoring it into, it mostly comes up with overdues, long overdues, and those sorts of things. When you delete days, then koha doesn't know to respect that holiday if now it's gone. I know that's the biggest concern when it comes to calendar preferences. Now, if your circulation rules basically ignore holidays and it's just total number of days, cycles of the sun and moon that have happened since you checked it out, you're good. But if you start clearing out old stuff, that's problematic. So maybe that's an argument for not erase from existence, but move into a deleted table or condense it down.
Maybe
you don't want to see it or archive it. We've got archives going on for suggestions.
So I guess I'm confused about that. So if I go in and delete Thanksgiving from 2013, that's going to have a detrimental impact on my data.
Well, probably not. It's like, how far back are you concerned about, and how much do you want to kind of clean up going forwards?
I think it'd be more of an issue if it was the 4th of July and you went back and deleted Memorial Day. like the most recent Memorial Day.
Like within the same year, yeah.
Yeah, or within the same cycle of data. Because if you delete that holiday and then something gets returned later, Koha's not going to know how to skip that date if it was supposed to be skipped if it's been deleted.
Yeah, if somebody returns something from 2013, I don't care if they get another day tacked onto it.
Yeah, I think that's only an issue for, and with our things, we have it set up not to even, we don't have anything that overdue. Because
Me neither.
Well, we don't have anything that overdue because we've got that cron running that changes everything after it's more than 45 days overdue anyway. So,
Ooh, can I ask about that? It's not web dev related either. We don't automate that because we're afraid that things are from, like, if the patron borrows an item from another library and then it automatically gets charged off on their account. Do you have a way to catch those things?
No.
Okay. Then we'll keep not
But we don't worry
charging
about it.
Oh, we are very concerned about that type of thing.
You guys are concerned. Yeah. People here are concerned about it a little bit too, but it's not something I care about. So the hell with them. And this is being recorded, isn't it?
Yeah.
No, it'll be fine. They're supposed to make an effort to try and figure out who the item belonged to, but I think in the end, the places that I've worked where they were so worried about that, what we always found is that trying from library A to make sure that all of the items that were, borrowed from library B that got lost and paid for, they would figure out how much they owed to library B and give them a check, and then library B would have the same situation. And it was coming out to a virtually zero sum situation. So I don't worry about it so much because the number of dollars worth of stuff that one library is using pretty much generally equals the amount of dollars worth of stuff that other libraries are losing over a long period of time. If you look at it in short chunks, it's usually not that much. There's a bigger difference, but if you look at it like over a 5-year period, you're just shuffling the same dollars back and forth from library to library.
An interesting point. I'll keep that in mind.
Yeah. So I don't worry about that so much when they complain about it.
And that's why we have things from that far off back.
Yeah.
Because there are issues that just never get resolved. So okay. I'm sorry to hijack. I'm done now.
Well, there's about 9 minutes left on the clock. Does anyone from koha-US governing body want to talk about their conference this year?
Wait. One question. I lied. Barbara, you said you can't delete calendar entries. Like, are you talking about in batch? Because I know we can go in and delete them one by one, and it's a big pain.
Well, I guess I don't even know how to delete them one by one because I don't see a way to do it.
You have to click on like the specific date on the calendar, and then in the little menu that pops up, you can delete.
Oh, okay.
But
Okay.
I would say if you're gonna split that bug out, you should make it like an easy way to batch delete old holidays. Would be great.
Okay.
And koha-US conference. Do you want to talk about it, Barbara, or do you want me to?
Sure. So koha-US is holding a live/virtual/ pre-recorded. I think those are all the things.
Hybrid is the good way to describe it.
A hybrid conference in McKinney, Texas, which is north central Texas. If you don't know where that is, McKinney is a lovely, used to be a small town with a historic feel, and now it's a bigger town, but it still has its historic downtown and lots of old bungalows and great shopping. So it is a perfect place to come visit. It's September 21st through 24th, I believe. And first 2 days are presentations, and the last 2 days are more workshop type configuration. And the proposal form for sessions is up on the koha-US .org site, and we need more presenters. So if you've got a great idea, and it doesn't even have to be really great idea. It can just be something you've done, and it can inspire other people. What else, Jason?
I need to put that on the next email. We also accept terrible ideas.
I'm in.
Well, no, because sometimes I think like, well, I could do this, but it's not really that great or that fabulous. And so that kind of makes me think maybe I shouldn't do it, because it won't be received as, like, why did she show me that? And so it doesn't have to be, a knock your socks off thing. It can just be something you've done and you share it, and it inspires other people, or they think, well, I could take that, but put a twist on it, and that would work in my situation. So
yeah, everyone can learn something from somebody. There's always a new person joining the community, like every 5 minutes or whatever. So they haven't been exposed to what we've been exposed to. So any topic is welcome. I did put the link in the chat, and the deadline for proposals is definitely tomorrow. So if you guys are gonna put in your proposals, please be sure and put them in by tomorrow. And we could use some more like workshop type days, people to lead workshops, but also presentations. We can use both. So if you folks at Bywater, wink wink, have things you want to share, be sure and get your proposals in.
Definitely by tomorrow. It's not going to be extended.
Not at all.
I'm on the conference committee. We're not extending the deadline.
Yeah. So
the 8 proposals we have now are going to be great.
This is also recorded, so
yeah.
in stone, not getting extended. I think that's pretty much it. We'll have more information. We're working on. Ed's supposed to be getting back to us with exact numbers for like lodging, that kind of thing. So we'll get that up on the website. And there was something else I was going to mention. Oh, registration. We should have registration costs out by the end of our next conference meeting, I think. But I think at this point, hopefully we're going to keep it around the same as it has been in the past. So you'll have, if you're a joining member, then it'll be a better deal to join and pay for the conference. And if you're not, then there will be a different fee for that. So, oh yeah, and I posted the merchandise up. So if you want to be cool and wear the logo when you arrive, there's t-shirts and things to purchase down below, and masks. If you're still feeling the mask in September, you can have one with the logo on it. Okay, I think I've exhausted this topic.
Does anybody have any final web dev thoughts? Okay, well, when's our next meeting?
Our next meeting is next month. Looks like June 17th, which is always the 3rd Thursday of the month. It'll be at noon Central, whatever that is for you, because my calendar's in Central, so that's what I go off. Excellent. Okay.
Thank y'all, and we'll see you next month.
See you
Bye,
next month.
everybody.